go, and pretty soon everybody's got a food replicator sitting around in their house, and then we just start going to town, so to speak. Make sense? Mm-hmm. So the spread of that will be extremely rapid. It'll be unlike centralized authority in the just-in-time system we've got now, because it'll probably occur at an almost cellular level in the sense of these self-organizing collectives that will appear over these next few years. And a lot of the self-organizing collectives are going to come into existence because of the terrific times, horrific and terrific times that we're going to be going through. We're going to have situations relative to the changes on the planet that cannot be avoided. So getting back to the question, I think it is extremely powerful. I think that ultimately there's basically one reason for any religion, and that is humanity, and really the only God we have is consciousness, and that's throughout the total universe, and prayer is individual breath. And if we were all breathed together, yes, we could probably create some incredibly startling things.
Oh,
but
my gosh.
It's going to take a while, and so I don't see it being really used effectively on anything like the economy.
What an incredible idea if we could get the whole world breathing in at the same time and out at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. If we could coordinate anything at a massive level, look at how powerful we become, yes.
You've been on George Norrie, haven't you?
Sure, yeah.
And I've been on George Norrie.
And he does those marvelous experiments, yeah.
Oh, I know it. Let's email him and ask him to do it.
It'd be awful hard, and I actually, at this point, I don't know that it would be worth the diversion of energy. I think people should be concentrating on not necessarily syncing up in the whole world. And I think entrainment will happen. And the reason that I think that we'll all be breathing together at the same level is that circumstances will provide this. Just the way if you put two pendulum clocks on the same wall, even if the pendulums are going in different directions when they start, eventually they'll get in sync. And I think that if we all just sat down and did our own meditation and that kind of thing, we would eventually sync in with everyone. So
what about putting up a website which is breathe in, breathe out?
That's probably not a bad idea. I've got too much damn work to get diverted, but it's probably not a bad idea. Getting things synchronized like that.
If it should be somebody saying breathe in, breathe out, or if it should just be very loud breathing.
Yeah, you'd want to have it in various different languages anyway, and you'd want to make sure that you didn't hold your breath so long that people started passing out or anything.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it should just be the very loud breathing. Then everybody could do it.
Yeah.
Sync the world with breath.
Yeah.
Sync, not S-I-N-K, S-Y-N-C.
Right.
Anyway, I've got another question that came in as a follow-up on the other. If we can't do a worldwide meditation and make a change in the world, do you think that we can do a meditation for ourselves and our family and protect ourselves and family from what's coming?
Yeah, I don't think it works that way.
Okay.
See, here's the thing. I don't think you can protect yourself from your own karma. And I think it is necessary that we stand up as sovereign individuals, recognize that we're naked alone in universe, and that we get tough. And we say, okay, bring on my karma. Why should I try and protect myself from my karma? If I'm due to burn out some karma in this period of time, let me do it as well as I can and act as, and it may be what I keep saying to people, there's no use running from stuff. The old Swedes that we live around up here in this neck of the woods in the Pacific Northwest have a saying, and they say that, Father Time wove the skein of your life the minute you were born, and no amount of hiding in a hole will lengthen it by a single day. So, since that's the case, since you have absolutely no control over any of that, you can hide and go and move and relocate, and the next thing you know, a meteor comes out of the sky and takes you out, and your brother is standing there just perfectly fine. Yeah. So your personal karma must be faced. So I don't see it being protected from the events going forward as being a viable goal. I would rather, from a martial artist point of view, I would rather engage and harmonize and be swept along and help control the events rather than try and hide from them. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
So now, in terms of sitting down and getting centered and meditating, I think that's extremely valuable, and I think it provides it provides a source of energy, a battery, if you will, for yourself and those around you. So I think it's a very valuable practice, but I would not put my energy into trying to create some kind of a protection bubble.
Okay. Do you know, I've got another question here. Do you know anything about the Maitreya, and what do you feel about it? Benjamin Krem.
Yeah. Yet another poseur, yet another prophet wannabe.
He came into my life in 1984, and he literally ripped off a lot of my friends, elderly people who truly believed in him, tens of thousands of dollars that these people really didn't have.
Right.
And needless to say, I have not felt very good about him. And I was really quite happy that George Norrie ended the show prematurely, saying that he gave him the creeps, so he shut him down. But that's just my opinion. I mean,
there are people that I've run across that way that, their key force rankles mine for whatever reason, and so I just won't have anything to do with them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's a whole lot of that going on. You have to understand, I'm not into this cult of celebrity. I'm not into claiming special status. I'm just an old bald fart living out in the woods, and I'll be dead in, a few years, so it's not really pertinent. We all die. It's like, big deal, let's get used to this
the way I
and
feel
get on.
too.
And so the idea that people are out there offering you stuff that is in the realm of the supernatural, it's like, it doesn't pass the smell test.
Yeah. Hey, we haven't really spent a lot of time on earthquakes, and we've got about 3 minutes.
We didn't really think in this last report it was worth noting the individual places where all the earthquakes are going to come to. Basically, what we're seeing is a series of giant squeezes from a magnetic bubble, if you will, that our whole solar system is passing through, and that's causing all the changes in our solar system. And it's going to cause a huge level of increase in very large earthquakes on the planet, many of which will be destructive, and we may even, this time next year, be getting into a period of time where we have like 1 or 2 7.0s every day, and it just may go on that way for months at a stretch. The real problem comes for us relative to Earth changes in spring of 2013. There will be some kind of an event in 2012, but the real nasty, I think, is going to be in spring of 2013, and it may well be a giant solar flare. We have issues in these kind of forecasts that come up in our data that suggest that all is not well, although in the main, universe favors humans, and some of us are going to get through to cause problems for the power elite on the other side of this. So it's not going to be necessarily that catastrophic, at least insofar as our data predicts. But between now and then, we're going to get into some really shaky times on the planet as all kinds of stuff goes into upheaval.
Anything that you can suggest for people to do? Get a tent and a piece of property in the middle of nowhere?
I don't know that that'll help. Again, if you move, you could be hit by a meteor or a rampaging buffalo could come and stomp you in your tent, and, how safe are you, that kind of thing. It's wherever the universe wants you to be, that's where you'll be, but it certainly does make sense to understand about earthquakes, and surviving earthquakes has to do with what's known as the triangle of safety. If you go and look it up, you'll see that most people that survive large earthquakes do so in triangular voids, not under things like door jambs or desks, but off on the side of file cabinets and refrigerators that can't be crushed because they're so full of stuff. So it makes sense to do that. It makes sense to have, water purification and stuff for after the earthquakes and to be advised of all of that, but I wouldn't necessarily relocate trying to run away from them because I don't think you'll be able to.
Okay. Yeah, we've had a couple here in California and down into Baja. And I'm literally predicting. There's this underground river that goes from the Sea of Cortez up into California, and I'm expecting that to break open one of these days and take out half of California and half of Arizona.
It may not actually go that way. It may go the other route. We may actually find that instead of California slipping into the sea, it becomes much more like southern Chile or Ecuador, where the coast rises up. Bear in mind that the last time that we went through this, or the time before, it's hard to say when it actually occurred, the area of Lake Titicaca, which is now 11,720 feet up in the Andes, was a seaport. And over the course of less than 7 or 8 days, they figure something like that, it moved almost 11,000 feet upward, just as land was shoved up. So you guys may find yourself the new Rockies there rather than down into the ocean.
One of the things that most people don't know is Big Sur all the way down, almost to Santa Barbara. That is all granite.
Yes.
And if something pushes up against the granite's going to go straight up in the air.
Correct. And all the recent earthquakes you've had, especially the coastwise ones, have all been up-thrust events, as has been the case here, that our recent Nisqually quake raised everybody about an inch higher.
I'll be darned. Maybe Ted Turner knew what he was doing when he bought that land in Big Sur.
Yep, maybe so. He wanted that mountain view.
Absolutely. Hey, Cliff, we're almost at the end of the hour. And thank you so much for being a guest here. We've got time to give out some contact info. And how do people get this report that you've just released?
You can purchase it from the Buy Now button off of our main halfpasthuman.com page. So just go to